So I'm in my head all the time. I don't know if any of you know this, but I'm a very, I guess you could say, introspective person, but I just am constantly consciously thinking about whatever topic I feel like thinking about, like really deeply, if that makes sense. And I thought I'd just make a video about this one thought that I had when talking to someone. This just came up in our conversation, and then I've kind of thought about it a bit since then, and I thought I'd make it into this video. I haven't uploaded in a while, so I thought this would be interesting to do. But this might seem random, but the thought is basically: is the world actually getting worse? Like everyone everywhere always says that the world is only going down, but is it actually? Is the world actually getting going down in a like a is it getting worse overall as a place? Now there's all sorts of subjective things of subjective topics with this, like what what is worse is like what actually makes the world worse. Like, is it a less survivable planet? Is it a place that is less enjoyable to live in? Or is it just purely from, is it getting further from nature? Is it, like what actually makes the world worse? And you can kind of debate all this, but I do think the world isn't in a great spot, but is it actually getting worse is the question. And one of the first things I realized is, when has anyone thought that the world was getting better? And has anyone thought the world is getting better? Like, I swear every single generation always says that the next generation is so much worse. I'm only 19 years old, but my parents obviously and their generation would often talk about how the internet is going like really bad and ruining people's brains, and then it gets to our generation, we think the generation below us, Gen Alpha, and the brain rot and short form content and all that is making it even worse. Like, it always seems like every single generation is talking about how the next generation is bad and how they're screwed. But like, it can't be like that, can it? I don't know further back than one or two generations ago, but as far as I'm aware, every generation seems to be complaining about the next generation, or at least the world in which the next generation is going to live in. Um, so I gave this some thought, and I feel like I can't answer whether it is or not, and that's, well, that kind of defeats the point of this video. But I wanted to talk about some reasons that I think makes us think the world is getting worse, whether it is or not. So whether the world is actually getting worse in a societal level, political level, or whatever level, like what's actually making us think that it is. And I feel like it's a lot of things. Like, everything seems to tell you that everything seems to want to tell you that your life sucks. For example, any advertisement you see is what it's basically trying to tell you is that without our product, without downloading our game, without using our service, your life is worse. If that makes sense. Like, your life will be worse unless you use our product, our service, our whatever. And that's kind of how they work. That's the whole goal. And there, of course, are always going to be exceptions, but this is the general, kind of thing. Um, every, like politics, every political party is basically saying the country will be worse, your life will be worse without us, right? And it's kind of the same with everything. Like, if you think about it, everything is trying to tell you, anything that's trying to tell you anything is telling you that your life will be worse if you don't do this, have this, buy this. You know what I mean? Like, everything in our world seems to make you want to believe that your life sucks unless you do something specific, and there will always be more things that tell you this than the things that you do. For example, there will always be more advertisements that you don't buy the product of or buy the service of than you actually do. Let's say you see 10 ads on YouTube. Let's say you see 10 ads on YouTube, um, and maybe you actually act on one of them. Maybe one's actually advertising something you want, and you go and buy that thing. Let's say it's a microwave. I don't know. You buy this microwave oven that it's advertising. There's still 9 that you haven't bought. And so there will always, and like very little people are actually going to buy something from 5 or more of those ads. And so there will always be more advertisements that you don't act on than you do. And even if, let's say, you act on 5 of them, and it's half and half, there's 5 that you act on, you buy the product of, or whatever, and then 5 you don't. Like, the chances of you, not the chances, you just won't notice your life is getting better. Unless it's unbelievably better. Like, unless this microwave that you bought makes your life so significantly better that you could, like, you actively am thinking about it every single time you use it, how incredible it is, you're not going to actively be thinking, wow, my life is now better because of that ad. All you're going to be thinking is, wow, imagine how much better my life would be if I bought this one as well, as you're watching the next ad on YouTube. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, the ads are always there directly making the direct connection that your life will be worse without this product. But once you buy the product, you're not always going to be actively making the connection that this product is making my life better. So even if you do buy most of the products the ads are advertising or services or whatever, you're not actively always thinking about that is the direct connection between your life being bad and your life being better. So you will always, in your mind, have more of a connection of all the things that are making your life worse, or, not making your life better is probably the best word, than the things that are actually making your life better. So you always focus on the negatives more than the positives. So even if you were buying as many things, it doesn't work like that. And like, with that being said, you won't buy everything. You see 10 ads, you probably only buy one, if that. I know that I definitely don't buy 10% of all the products that are advertised to me. That's just a random example. It's probably the real number's probably way less. But you get the idea. Like, there's always going to be more direct connections with your life being bad than direct connections with your life being good, because that's the motivation behind everything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to add. If you have any of your own thoughts, leave them down in the comments, I guess. I think this is, I don't know. This is just, I just find it interesting to think about these things. Whether I come to a conclusion or not, I just like to think about these things a lot. So, do you agree with me? Do you think the world's getting worse? Do you think the world's getting better? What do you think is making us think that the world is getting worse? Obviously, there's also social media and news, and the ones that we all know that are trying to actively make our life worse, because like negatives are more create more emotional reactions than positive stuff. The news is always advertising bad stuff that happen in the world, and social media is always advertising bad stuff in the world. So is the world actually getting worse? And if it's not, why do we think so? I don't know.